1,800 people have just left Earth orbit. As the fusion engines ignite, their vessel pushes out into the dark void. This map tracks the scale of their voyage. Traveling at 4.24% the speed of light, the Helianthus is locked on a 100-year flight path across 4.24 light-years to reach the closest habitable planet, Proxima Centauri B. The original passengers on board will not live to see the end of this journey. Transit requires a full century, making this a multi-generational relay through interstellar space. The target planet is hostile to our current biology. It orbits a dim red dwarf star, bathing the surface in dark crimson light, and it exerts a gravitational pull stronger than Earth's. If standard humans arrived today, their skeletons would struggle against the heavier gravity, and their eyes would barely function in the low light. They are physically incompatible with their new home. To bridge this gap, the Helianthus must function as more than a transport. Over the next 100 years, the ship will be used to intentionally accelerate a biological transition through environmental manipulation and strict genetic management. Before the ship can re-engineer its human cargo, it must manage the unseen biology already on board. In a closed-loop system, the most immediate threat is the rapid evolution of bacteria. Microbes reproduce thousands of times faster than humans. A bacterial strain that starts out aiding human digestion can cycle through tens of thousands of generations in a single year, dividing rapidly and mutating into a pathogen that the passengers are unprepared for. To counter biological instability, the ship's command imposes rigid laws on human reproduction. Every couple must undergo genetic sequencing, ensuring that every new birth maintains the maximum possible health and diversity for the journey ahead. This chart projects the ship's population limits over the 100-year voyage. To prevent genetic bottlenecking while keeping the total number safely below the flat horizontal line representing the ship's maximum resource threshold, families are assigned a strict quota, a mandatory minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3 children. The command deck also implements generational staggering. Parents are mandated to reproduce at staggered intervals. This prevents large clusters of children from being born at the same time, ensuring an even distribution of labor for the coming decades. 50 years into the transit, the ship crosses the halfway mark. Looking out the viewports, the passengers can finally see their destination star, a faint red point they call Helios. This visibility triggers the gravity evolution sequence. Thrusters on the outside of the 750-meter habitat ring begin firing periodically, gradually increasing rotation. This diagram illustrates how the increased spin generates higher artificial gravity. Over 3 decades, the outward centrifugal force vectors push harder against the inhabitants, ramping up the interior gravity to match the 1.026 G rating of their destination. Living under this heavier load triggers immediate physiological stress. Over the final generations of the trip, the ship's geneticists select for traits that thrive in this environment. The result is a lineage where bones grow denser and the average height becomes shorter and more compact to handle the increased G-load. Simultaneously, the ship's lighting is dialed down and tinted red to mimic the solar output of the Helios star. This environmental pressure is paired with active screening in the ship's artificial womb labs. The ship's medical staff utilizes cryogenically frozen samples brought from Earth to introduce genetic variations that favor low-light vision. Within just a few generations, these selected traits become dominant. Pupils become larger, the white sclera becomes pigmented to reduce glare, and irises shift to a golden amber color, optimized for the red spectrum. By combining environmental stressors with active genetic selection, the Helianthus has begun a targeted biological shift. These passengers are no longer the same as the people who left Earth. They are the starting point for a new branch of humanity. 99 years and 350 days after leaving Earth, the transit phase concludes. The Helianthus performs a flip maneuver, firing its fusion drive in reverse to shed speed and enter orbit around the red-lit world of Elysia. The ship's logs document the total turnover of a century in the vacuum. Over 7 generations, the population recorded 2,924 deaths and 5,700 new births. This colony will exist in permanent isolation. Because of the immense distance and the effects of time dilation, sending a single message to Earth and waiting for a reply now takes 8.5 years. The cultural disconnect is as profound as the physical one. The passengers have discarded Earth's mythology, renaming their destination Elysia and their sun Helios. As the landing shuttles descend, these completely new humans arrive on a world where their ancestors would have perished. The journey has proven that surviving another solar system requires more than just a ship. It requires the willingness to change what it means to be human.